multiple cameras, and I even got my other camera, and then it was just too much work, dude. I had to fucking bag sawdust this morning, and then I was
too much. Yeah. The sawdust,
and then I bought another mic, and the other mic isn't even being used. So, but it will be.
Those
used.
are like, those are like high tech. I mean, your camera itself, was a Logitech or something like that. It says
you know, high tech for
tech.
A low tech guy.
You're getting to be a high tech guy.
Yeah, but
you got a lot of nice stuff.
Yeah, trying, dude, but trying to learn how to use it. This program is really nice because I can upload right to Spotify.
Yeah.
So we're live right now. No,
we're live.
No, Jack, thank you for being here.
Yeah. Glad to be here. It's been a long time since I've been in the lair.
In the dungeon.
It's been a long time, too long.
Yeah, me and Jack have known each other for since like 7th grade.
Yeah.
We're homies in 7th grade.
I thought about that the other day. I was like, because I know we didn't go to Oakdale together.
No.
In middle school.
We met. I had this in my notes too. I was trying to think, how did we become friends?
I don't know. Probably I want to say it had something to do with sports.
Or like English class. We fucked around hard in English class.
Yeah.
With Miss Lou, not Miss Lou.
No, history was Miss Lou. It started with an R.
She always wore the plaid shorts.
I think it was started with an R. I can't think of it. It's gonna bug me now.
I don't know.
My memory is so bad, dude. But Mrs. Lou was the shit.
Mrs. Lou was the shit. She was old, but she
was
like, lollipop.
Yeah, she was a very sweet lady for sure.
She's crying.
Which isn't funny, but
it's not funny.
R.I.P. if she is.
Yeah, R.I.P. Miss Lou. Hopefully she's kicking it somewhere.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely middle school.
7th grade. I feel like it was like me, you, and Ian became homies. Well, when did the merge happen in like 6th grade?
I transferred after my siblings transferred to Grand Rapids Christian. I redid 5th grade because I knew Emmett and Mark and Hannah.
That must have been how we just met.
Right.
How did you know them?
My family. I grew up with them since I was like a baby, going camping and stuff. We would go to different camp spots, Pentwater, Hill and Hollow, and all that kind of stuff. So
must have met through there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Just through you being, knowing them and stuff like that. And so, yeah.
Then we used to walk to the Mac, and there was Brad Doobie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
B-Rad, dude.
B-Rad, yes, dude.
We used to walk everywhere. We would walk everywhere, then moped.
Or just like moped on the back with a rope and the longboard with Ian to the mall.
Dude, remember one time Ian ate shit, dude? He got the speed bubble, so I was going like
that was 30. Right outside your old house, right?
Yeah.
On the road.
We had some adventures on that thing, dude. We literally rode the moped from my house to your house with us, with me and you on the moped and Ian on the back, dude.
Probably not wearing helmets either.
Oh, there's no way.
Dude. You probably were wearing a helmet. But
maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, that's wild. That was a game changer, you and the moped.
Yeah, that opened the door to a lot of irresponsible decisions.
Oh my gosh, so much, yeah. Just free reign to be in.
Around downtown, or around anywhere in GR.
Anywhere.
I took that thing on the highway, dude, with the Hardy.
Yeah, you went on some missions for sure. Yeah, I remember you telling me about some of this stuff.
That
or
was
just like
stupid.
Driving in the fall. I remember.
I still got a scar on my hand.
Leaves on the ground. Yeah, the wet leaves. That thing went through hell for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody buy it from you?
Luke Sellis, dude, and then I didn't transfer the title over for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I technically still owned it. But like not really.
Yeah.
But he was trying to resell it, and they're like, "You don't own this moped." He's like, "Well, I paid for it." I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I had to fix that.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, dude. Memories. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. We've been through a lot of shit together. I think it's only right to have him on the pod to further explain my life and also talk about some of the struggles I've been going to. through.
Yeah.
Full transparency. When we talked on the phone last,
Yeah.
which was
What
like
was
2 days
2 days
ago,
ago? Yeah.
I dumped out the rest of my Adderall,
Okay.
and I hadn't been on it. I actually just got it,
Yeah.
and I was strung out for 3 days, like zooted. And I'm like, fuck it. It's $5, dude. The problem is it's cost me $5 to re-up it.
Yeah.
$5 so easy. It helps me a lot. But I convince myself that I can take it responsibly every time, and then I never do. I was like, dude, you can do it. You can just take the recommended amount, and then I never end up taking the recommended amount.
And
like
it's scary once you're awake for
3 days. Dude, I'm gonna laugh because it's just so crazy, but it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. I was so out of it. I went. It's like the middle of the night. It's like 4 a.m. So I'm like half asleep.
Yeah.
And I pulled my charger and I thought a snake was on me, and I fucking ran out of the room. My heart dropped.
Yeah,
dude. It's like you're loopy, dude.
Yeah,
But
I've definitely been in hallucinated states, with doing the same type of thing. But I think it's good that you made an executive decision to.
I felt guilty too, like with when I post on social media, and sometimes too, it's like when I take the Adderall, or I call it Adderall, but it's 5 amps, but same shit.
That's all the same.
When I take it, it gives me a boost of confidence that I otherwise don't have, and sometimes it puts me over the edge, and that's where, like, I don't know if I would be where I am right now if I never took it, to be fully transparent, which is scary to think about.
That's one of the, because I know we spoke and we were like, oh, you had some questions for me, and you said something about me if I wanted to, ask if I wanted to think about something specific I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
I didn't write anything down, but one of the things I thought about was like kind of the same thing. Like, do you think you would be where you're at right now if you hadn't, started taking it or been taking it? Because I know you mentioned like the ideas and like the.
I don't think I would be ambitious enough.
Yeah.
I have really put myself out there on it to where, like, I'm almost being too ambitious.
Yeah.
Or I'll embarrass myself a little bit, but I don't. But I think I'm at a point now where I don't need it. Like, it's so hard, dude, because like I said, sometimes it just gives me that confidence to like not give a fuck and like almost turn into like a. The problem is I turn into a work zombie.
Yeah.
And I don't have. This is where I get my. I think life is about balance, and the problem with me is I get my balance in extremes rather than moderation. So either I'm on it and I'm taking it for 3 days, or not taking it at all. Versus, why don't you just take the recommended amount? And it's like, I think I can. I tell myself I can, and I never do it. I convince myself so many times. I'm like, Kevin, you can do it. You got it. Your brain says it. Do it. We're going to take it responsibly this time. And then you just get that itch, and you just get that like euphoria of like.
No, I agree. Because it's like, when the doctor talks to you about it, or when I got on it when I was like a senior in high school.
Yeah.
But like, it lasts for whatever, 13, 14 hours. But it's like that initial buzz is like 3 or 4 hours. For me, at least, that's what it was. And then every 3-4 hours, man, I'm undoing a capsule and dropping some of it on my tongue, or like, yeah. So, but I think to say something about that is like you're recognizing something along the lines with it. And
I know it's not healthy.
Yeah, but you're also like, asking yourself some questions about it, and like.
Well, I asked myself, I literally wrote down, why do I do this to myself? After I got off you on the phone that night, it's like 3 a.m. I haven't slept for 3 days. I'm like, why do you do this to yourself? Why do you do this? Continue. I said I wasn't going to take it that day, and I ended up taking it because I was so tired. It comes to the point where then you're so tired, and in order to function the next day, you have to take it. Otherwise, you're going to fall asleep while you're freaking working. Yeah. So like. And then Monday, I barely got anything done because then I was sleeping basically the whole day because I was strung out for 3 days.
Right.
So that's a problem.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Well, I like went into states of actual psychosis, and that's part of the reason why I like went dark, was because like I thought I had just gone too far, to the point where like everybody was noticing something was off, and I was like, I like felt like I couldn't correct it. Or felt like I had already gone down this route of like not being able to say something about it, and then like get myself, because I don't think I initially I didn't really want to get help.
Yeah, that's the scariest feeling is when you don't want to get better. When
Yeah,
you
well,
feel
it's
that
just
and you
addiction
don't.
and like it's yeah.
I have that in my journal. I said what scares me the most are the times when I don't want to get better.
Well, because you take it and then you're like, this is great.
You feel amazing.
And then you're awake for 3 days, and then towards the end of it, you're like, this sucks.
And then you say, why do I do this to myself?
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, I've tried. I almost think I just can't use it because this has been a problem for years, and I continuously it's not been super bad for years, but it has gotten bad a lot of times throughout the journey, and I continuously say that I think I can do it responsibly, and then I can't, and that's where if I have it in my possession, like I just had to dump it out. It was like, it cost me $5. Fuck it, dude. Like, and so I only had it for 3 days, but I took. I don't even want to think about how much it took. Definitely took too much.
I've been there. I've been, whatever. 20 days left until I get a prescription. All of them are gone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're all down the toilet now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very, I commend you for doing that.
Yeah, it was, dude. What the worst part is that I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I knew I had to, but I didn't want to because I have to do taxes. And I'm like, fuck, I want it for that. But I'm like, I can do taxes without it. But the feeling yesterday, like you said, when you don't, like when you are withdrawing from it, at least for me, is like I feel super anxious. I feel like I'm like, shit, bro. I posted all that stuff on social media. Like, I feel like an idiot. I don't know.
It's an overwhelming feeling of just like,
yeah. It's not a good feeling.
No.
And you're exhausted. Even today I was tired. I feel good now. Like I got to sleep in for 2 days and
good.
Function today, but yeah, it's only been 3 days off of it. So full transparency, this is the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to try and document my journey without it, hopefully. But yeah, I definitely struggle with that.
But it's badly. And it's good that you're saying out, that you are struggling with it, because that's the first thing you have to get past. I think you've already realized that.
Yeah.
But
it's like I've said that for a while. Yeah, I think the next step is really wanting to. I know it's a problem, and now I need to truly want to get better. And how do I want to do that?
And it's also like you're gonna have to try to work hard on like doing the things that you've been doing while on it without it, and also finding just like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, honestly,
without it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like,
yeah,
it's gonna take time no matter what. Like,
dude, to be real, if you wouldn't have texted me today, me not having it, I almost wanted to cancel because I felt like I couldn't do this pod without it. I felt like I couldn't be talkative enough. I felt like I didn't have the confidence. And then you text me, I'm like, all right, he's actually down, like I'm gonna do it. But if you wouldn't have texted me, I might have tried to postpone it because I was tired. I was like,
I get it.
I mean, it's only been 2 days since I'm still coming off of it a little bit, I would say, but
you're still sleep deprived, I'm sure.
Yeah, still a little sleep deprived. But yeah, I'm here now, so this is me proving to myself that I can do it without
exactly.
it.
And it's just, I mean, as cliche as it is, AA has taught me one day at a time.
Yeah.
And it's truthfully, it can be an hour at a time. It can just be, if you feel like you want to do it or take a pill or whatever, then, an hour later you might not want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's different for different people, but it's a cliche saying, but truthfully is something that has extremely helped me within my sobriety as well.
What would you say for you to stop taking? Was it harder for you to stop drinking or to stop taking drinking for sure?
Yeah. But like the Adderall or the Vyvanse thing for me was, my family, because I was living with my parents, they knew I had an issue because like I said, I was in like psychosis, like I was hallucinating that like people in the house were like talking about me and then confronting them about it. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like I'm hearing voices and I'm seeing, like I'm looking out my windows and like at night, and at that point I had been awake for 3 days, and like that had happened multiple times. I wasn't eating and like all this stuff, but it got to the point where my mom reached out to my psychiatrist, who was literally right down the road at right across from Calvin. She was like, he can't be taking these. Like he just, this is like wild. And I was lying to him about how I was feeling, because you go in there for 10 minutes and you have a conversation, and then you get a
so
prescription
hard to
and
be
leave.
on. Yeah.
So I wasn't being honest about it, and even after he knew, I still wasn't being honest about it. But I didn't really like choose to quit it.
Yeah.
I basically was put on a list that was like, he can't have these.
Dude, but when I called my doctor, I thought I was gonna be put on that list. I showed you that video.
It's just different doctors, man. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, he's just giving you an alternative immediately. He didn't even ask you how you felt, or like,
no.
He didn't go in depth at all.
I literally said, I'm addicted to it. I take too much, and I still am on it.
Well, and also that's your primary care, right?
I love the dude though. I know, I get it,
but he's not a psychiatrist, so he's basically like, he probably knows about it.
Yeah, he did tell me to talk to a therapist, and then I talked to the therapist, and this dude was so weird.
I've had so bad psychiatrists and therapists. It's wild.
I did not vibe. I'll talk like I'm doing this shit, bro. I'll talk to random people about my feelings, but if I don't like, if I don't relate to you at all, I'm not gonna be honest with you about real shit. Like I just me, just who I am.
No, I get it, and like and then I've had people who have tried to get me to like read the Bible every single time I came back, and that's just not like, I don't know. Yeah. Some people might have liked those therapists or whatever, but for me, I and then I just kind of dropped it. Or like I had a bad psychiatrist who I ended up getting fired from Forest View because they called him like the Candyman. He would literally just diagnose you with like, I was diagnosed with bipolar like disorder from him.
Yeah.
And I was taking like 5 medications at once one time and throwing up at like randomly throughout the day. And I don't have that. I don't have bipolar. I'm not bipolar. Like,
dude, I heard somebody else who had the same thing. They said that he was bipolar, gave him all these meds.
I was on like gabapentin, like 400 milligrams. Like, dude, it was.
And that guy has to mess with so many other things, like you're just like your your hormones or whatever. Dude.
Yeah, and just my like throwing up. Like I would randomly just get like a hot flash and like throw up.
Did you feel like a different person while you were taking it?
Like these medications or Adderall? Or
no, the like the bipolar stuff. Like, did you feel like you were yourself, or did you feel like your personality changed?
I mean, for me, and I'm sure this is probably for a lot of people, like when you get new medications like that, you like to almost give yourself like something's working. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know. I was on like 4 different medications, and depression, anxiety, bipolar, like all that stuff. And I think, I don't know, it's also about balancing your life out. Like you can't just continue to do the same stuff you were doing and expect the medication to just like magically make you feel better. Also, my memory is horrible from what I've put my brain through. Yeah. So I don't really remember all that much when I was on it. I know it was not good, and to the point where somebody in my family was like, he needs to not be taking all this medication. Like, but yeah, it was just a whole thing, man. And when I went back to Forest View for the second time, they put me with a new psychiatrist, and I remember asking him about it. They're like, oh, he got fired.
Did you like the new psychiatrist that you talked to?
No, I wasn't. It's just they're there to. Sucks to say, but I mean, you know yourself with big pharma or whatever, and like those people, the more prescriptions they write, what I'm told is that they make more money the more that they like. And again,
the more they do, they probably do though.
Yeah, it's like the more patients they have, and the more, I don't know, and they're pulling up in Porsches and shit.
Well, I also think like the U.S. government wants us to be Adderalled up so we turn into work zombies. Like when I'm on that, dude, they used to do that to the military. The fighter pilot. That's how it started. Was in the military. They would give people a bunch of. It was like meth. Actually, it was stronger than Adderall.
Oh yeah,
and
I've
they would
seen
just be up
stuff
for
about
days.
that.
Dude.
Yeah, because people got to be like watch at night and stuff like that. They're exhausted.
Adderall up,
like,
dude.
A bunch of stuff. Yeah, no, I mean that goes back a really far time or a long time ago, and like obviously I'm not an expert. We're not experts on it, but like
we're far from.
But like, yeah, I would always just lie to anybody who I feel like I could get my way with getting a prescription for something. Well, and mostly that's just the Adderall or the Vyvanse prescription.
But it's so addictive, dude.
I mean, it's an amphetamine. Like it's amphetamine with how it's a meth amphetamine. It's an amphetamine, and again, it's made in a lab and stuff like that. It's obviously a lot more controlled. But if you watch videos on people who have done both and been abusing both, they're not that far apart, really. One of them's just chemically safer.
And this was at my church years ago, but this guy who was supposed to be an expert on drug addiction came in and talked, and one of the students asked him, "What about Adderall addiction?" He goes, "I actually don't know people who deal with that because it tends to be pretty unpleasant when they abuse Adderall." I'm like, boy, do you know that is a major problem, and a lot of people who are in college, who are business owners, whatever. It's a lot of things that a lot of people deal with that, I would say. And to say that you don't think it's a problem when you're supposed to be an expert on addiction, that hurt me, at least, because I was struggling with it a little bit at the time too.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely curious to hear what he would say, and that's all he said.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. What would you say has helped you the most throughout finding sobriety? And how long have you been sober for, to tell the people?
I will be 10 months sober off of everything on the 26th of April.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah. It's been a journey, to say the least. Yeah,
dude, a year, dude. That year's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be wild, yeah. And it's actually, funny enough, 6 days after my birthday, so it'll be June 26th.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that'll be a good
man. It's been quite the journey, quite the eye-opening experience. Something that has changed my life for the better, indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that, I don't know, man, it was just, I was going nowhere. I mean, I was on my way to a doctor at Blodgett actually told me that I went in there because I was throwing up blood. And he said that I'm on my way, basically, without saying it, that I'm on my way to having a liver transplant, like early 30s. And this was probably like 2 years ago that I was in there. And because he mentioned to me that somebody who had just turned like 29 that he knew had a liver transplant. Yeah, it was bad, man.
When you heard that, like, did that scare you or what?
It scared me, but then I went right back to it,
to just numb the feeling.
Yeah, and at the worst of it, I was drinking like a half gallon a day. Cheap stuff.
The pop off.
Yeah, Crystal Palace pop off. What a Kamchata, anything to get my hands. I used to go pay at Meijer with dimes and nickels.
Oh man!
Like just a bunch of them, throw them in the slot. I never stole anything.
That's good.
Yeah, but daily. I mean, every single day.
How did you hide that from your family and stuff?
Well, they're busy, and I got to the point where I was drinking so much I could handle it really well. Like I would be upstairs after drinking like 3/4 of a fifth and just be like having conversations with people.
Man. And did
they knew to some degree because it had been a long. They smelled on my breath for sure, and just like some of the because I was very depressed and stuff like that. So if I like came upstairs and I was all like jolly, and like, obviously I was just like hammered.
Yeah.
And so they could tell, towards the end of it, but it was more so just like I wouldn't give them the opportunity to say it. Like I would just be held up like in my room or something like that, and I would always just put it in my waistband whenever I came inside and just like immediately go downstairs. But I mean, I started waking up, and within the first 10 minutes of being awake, I was taking shots. Yeah, like it was at like 7 a.m, like, and that was that way for a long time.
And you could fully function too.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't really do anything. But like, yeah, I would have to go drive to get more and stuff, but like I wouldn't go anywhere. Like if anybody asked me to do anything, I would be like, no. Or if I did do it, I would be drunk. Wow. Like the last time we saw each other, and obviously the time before, times ago, but yeah, like I had drinking like 4 or 5 beers. Yeah,
I had no idea.
Like the heavy ones, like IPAs or whatever. It's just like I won't be able to do this if I don't. Like I'm gonna feel like shit. If I don't do it.
It almost was like an antidepressant in a way.
Yeah, man, because you feel like shit when you drink that much a day and then you wake up the next day, you're like, what is going to make me feel better? Oh, I'm just going to immediately start taking shots.
And it's numbing, whatever.
But back to your question, what has helped me the most, or what helped
you the most?
I think, I guess realizing that, I don't know, man. There's some multitude of, there's so much different things that I think about personally, at least. I think saving myself, like health wise, is huge. Also, just like it was never fun, dude. Like it was never. I had to have some amount of alcohol in my system in order to want to do anything, and I lost a lot of relationships because of it, with my family members as well as like I mean, I still consider them to be my friends, but like I shied away from answering a lot of close people for a long time, and it got to the point where they wouldn't reach out anymore because it was like he's just not going to answer. And so I think it's just for me it was just like I can do this, but I have to start somewhere, and it was the scariest thing ever. I mean, I called to go to rehab myself.
Yeah.
And it was 6 days after my birthday, and I was just like, where am I gonna, like, what am I doing? Like, what's next for me, I guess. And it's just like, it was the scariest, thing. And at that point I had held myself like by myself for like years, and now I'm going into this place with 35 other addicts who are probably, their lives are much worse off than mine is. And I can't go anywhere. I can't leave. Like I was up north. I can't just go anywhere. I can't just leave.
And when you called in, so how long were you checked in there for?
I was there for like 45 days.
Do you think like that's a good amount of time for you to?
I mean, I could have gone 90.
Yeah. But after that 45 days, like you get out, did you think you were going to go back to it, or did you think you would be 10 months sober now?
Well, I went straight to sober living where I'm living now. Oh, like I went straight there. Okay. So, I don't know. I've been thankful enough to not have had very many moments where it's like in my mind I'm like, I wish I could go drink right now, or like I want to go buy alcohol right now. And I think part of that's just me keeping myself busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I went straight from rehab to sober living, and if I wouldn't have done that, I can't say I would not have started drinking again. If I would have went back to my parents' house and like, not really started to do anything, or like, not going to meetings or whatever it is, like I can't say I wouldn't have done that. The accountability that I have at sober living is what I needed.
So explain the sober living situation for people.
So I live with 9 other guys. We have a house full of 10 guys. When it's full, people come and go. We have to breathalyze every morning and every night, and every time we come back to the house, like we have to sign out. Like I signed out when I came here, and I'll have to breathalyze and show somebody when I get back to the house, and have like time stamped and everything. We get drug tested through a lab every once in a while, and if people have any idea that somebody might be doing something, then Justin, our house manager, who was my old roommate when I got there initially, he will drug test people. And I've seen some wild stuff. Some crazy stuff. Living with addicts, and people who have been to sober living like 20 times.
Are any people there like because they're like getting out of it, like they're on probation or something?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had people who are court ordered to be there, and
Yeah.
they don't last long because it's just like they're not in it for themselves. You have to be
They're
in it for
there.
yourself, dude. Like,
Yeah, they're there because they.
that's the main thing. Another cliche is like we were very, um, all you think about is like you're very selfish. You only think about yourself in addiction. Like it's all about me, me, me.
Mhm.
I need this, I need that. It's like you also have to be that same way in recovery because it's like I can't do this for anybody else.
Besides yourself.
I can do it for other people, but first comes first is myself.
And that's what's lasts the longest because you don't know if you'll lose somebody, but if you're looking out for yourself,
Oh
dude.
my gosh, yeah. Like some people are like, "Oh, I'm doing it for my kid." It's like, yeah, that's great and all, but like you have to be in it for yourself because if you're not in it for yourself,
You need to take
you're also not,
taking care of your kid because if you can't take care of yourself, how are you gonna take care of your kid?
exactly. So it's just a whole. I've learned so much from meetings or just like even just my roommates and people. Justin's been through the ringer, man.
Yeah, what's his? So was he was an addict at one point then?
He's 40.
Yeah.
He was an addict for like many, many, like 25 years. Meth, heroin, crack. He was in prison in Texas and like ran with like Aryans and like was transporting like large quantities of meth all over, and he's done some wild stuff. He actually is one of the only people at the house right now who got a second chance. Joe, the coordinator for Recovery Roadhouses, confronted him because Justin was using meth at the house and was like, "You need to be honest with me right now." And like, obviously, he knew Justin was high, but Justin was like, he was giving him a chance to be honest with him,
Yeah.
and he was. So then you go through a process of you have to do 30 meetings in 30 days, and you have to do drug tests like every other day or whatever. And Justin did that, and he was my roommate when I got there. I got there August 2nd. He was my roommate for some months, and then now he's our house manager. But yeah, man, he's a hard dude, man.
Yeah.
He's got tattoos all over, and it's just doesn't take shit from anybody. It's just uh, but somebody who I've befriended, and I'm glad I did. I can talk to him about anything, man. He's a real good dude. Hopefully planning on moving out with him and one of our other roommates, Kenny, here pretty soon.
Oh, nice.
Us three have been in the house the longest. Me 10 months coming up, Justin 11 months, and then Kenny, who's at the house, has been there for about a year.
And how long can you stay there?
I mean, you can. The house manager when I got there was moving out. He had been there for 2 years.
Okay. What would you, if you could give advice? So like when you were an addict and where you are now, if you could give advice to that version of yourself, what would you say?
What would I say? Being sober now, giving advice
To yourself.
to
You could talk to yourself when you're at your lowest point. Would you tell yourself anything?
Yeah, I would say. I don't know, man. I would say just like something like. I think it's hard to look at stuff big picture when you're in a mind state like that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it was hard for me to even find like happiness in like very small things. Um, I think for me, it would probably be like don't lose sight of who wants to see you succeed, because I have a lot of people who have my back. And it's like I went through times of I mean, I've tried to commit suicide, and so. And also just been like so many different times, just like laying in bed feeling like shit, just being like, I should just kill myself, dude. But like, there's so many people in my life who want to see me survive and thrive and do good things because I know I can. But it's like I have to do something for myself first and foremost, and I don't want to let those people down at all. So it's just like find something that can, you know, hopefully just propel you into, you know, wanting to just better yourself, man, and just some people might think that they don't have anybody that wants to see them succeed or do better, or it's just
You never know who's looking at you in the distance too, or
yeah,
whatever.
man.
Like,
And it's like there's so many people that that loved me, and there's people who are in that moment of their lowest point. It's just like it's so hard to think about anything positive. But if you can just do that and try and get yourself better, maybe even in that moment, just for those people, and then you can realize that I have to do it. You have to do it for yourself in order to be able to do it for those people. But yeah, man, those low points are shitty. They're terrible.
And you feel stuck too, dude. I remember feeling stuck so many times. It's like, how am I going to get out of this? Why do I continue to make the same mistakes? Like,
and you just got to start, man. And
I know,
and talk about it.
That's what I'm trying.
I never talked about that stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to be vulnerable to people because you just wonder what they'll think about you. But I'm at the age now where I'm starting to just not really. I'm gonna be me, and whatever. Like everybody, I think the thing is
unapologetically be you.
Like, it's not. Yeah. And I think a lot of people struggle, and they don't. And they like to pretend they don't talk about it, and they like to pretend they're okay. And I think a lot more people would be alive. They fucking talked about it, dude. Straight
Absolutely.
up. Like,
you couldn't say it better. There's so many
good people that died too young.
Yeah, because they thought they were alone. It's like,
and they rely on these drugs to feel a euphoric feeling to escape, whether they try to kill themselves or not, bro. I could have accidentally killed myself so many times off all this shit. Told you on the phone the other night, I said, I don't want to die on accident, bro. I don't want my heart to stop beating. It's very dangerous. Straight up, dude. I have been begging for my life multiple times. Like you said, I've had suicidal thoughts, but then once I feel like I'm dying, then that's when I'm begging for my life. So it's like, do you actually want to die? No. You just are depressed in that moment. But when you are faced with death, every time I never choose death. I choose to keep fighting. So like, that's where it's like, well, you're just lying to yourself. Your brain's saying you. At least for me, I'm talking for myself.
No, right I totally agree.
But for me, I've had depression. I've had thoughts of suicide. Then I've also thought I was dying. And when I think I'm dying, I never want to die.
You never wish that it would go further than that.
No.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. It takes that point, man. It's
yeah. And it's been there too many times. Yeah. Even like not even just from drugs, from car accidents, from freaking other situations too, where I've been close to death doing like flirting with it. I guess part of the problem, I think I've lived a lot of my life without being afraid of dying. Like I say, I fear it when my heart is beating really fast when I'm on it. But when I like go and like, just put myself in situations without any fear of the outcome. And I don't know, that's not very smart, but
well, I mean,
I've always had I used to think I never saw myself getting old, so I kind of lived like I was gonna die young, to be honest with you. And I just never did. Never saw myself being an old person. And so I'll have to journal about that and think about that a little more.
And I love that you journal, man. I watched your other just briefly when you sent that to me the other day.
Yeah.
That you have had the journaling since like 2017. I'm a huge advocate of journaling. I should be doing it myself. I know I was when I was in rehab. It's a very good thing to have things, on paper, and then you can look back
on, dude. And there has been years, like I did it a ton in 2017 to maybe like 2019, and then like COVID to 2020, it's kind of slowed down a lot. I don't really know why.
You can always get back into it. I mean, I haven't done it. I've just been,
This is a question I wanted to ask you is, who's someone that deserves like a thank you that's helped you throughout your journey? If you could say thank you to one person who is really.
I mean, I could say thank you to tons of people, but
okay, you can say it doesn't have to be one.
Definitely my mom comes first in my mind. She, since I've gotten sober, has been so great to me, and she's always been great to me. But like, I think I mentioned to you, she was like, when I first got out, she was like, I'm so glad to have Jackson back. And then like a week later, she was like, we've never had sober adult Jackson before. Like I've never, since, COVID or whatever, up until 9 months ago, I was just like fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
And not doing my stuff. And so I think within her, she sees an entirely new person.
I do too, bro. Straight up.
Yeah. And I really appreciate when people bring that to light, because it's like, I've never been like this before. I've never had a full-time job and had money saved up, and like,
yeah,
I've never been sober for, I can't really think back to how long it was. I think I went like 28 days without drinking one time. Other than that, I don't know. I have no idea. But, my mom is somebody who has been through it with me for sure. And still saw that light at the end of the tunnel, and saw what I could be, and has always pushed me to, do good things, and want to take care of myself. And I think she's getting that version of me now and can see it. And she's really, really just been, the ultimate fighter with me, because I have put her through so much stuff, and like, from stealing their stuff, and money, and all this other stuff, and it's just being an asshole, dude. Like, it's and so, I can't say that I would ever think that she would ever give up. Yeah. But it hit that point where they were like, get out of the house. Like, go. That's what propelled me into going to rehab. Was I got kicked out, and I was out for like 3 weeks, and I was only getting worse. And so she had to just be like, he needs to do this on his own. So
do you think that's what it took for you to get sober, though?
Oh, for sure, dude. To be like, not have,
you were homeless for a little bit.
I was staying at Grand Valley's, like in Grand Valley's campus, with 3 dudes from Nigeria who were looking for an extra roommate, and their like lease was something. It was this whole thing, and I ended up having to leave because I was there for like 5 days on an air mattress that had no air in it. I would wake up and it would be like all flat. And I was drinking every day.
How did you meet these
Facebook?
Guys?
Yeah, they said they needed an extra roommate, and I was like, I have like $800 right now to my name. Mm-hmm. And like, I was like, I just need a little bit of time. I don't know what I was doing, dude. I had no fucking idea.
So you stay? Did you pay? How much were they charging you?
So I didn't have having to pay, because they were trying to get me that room for a certain amount of time, and it was during like the summertime, and so the leasing office was like, we can't. Like, this isn't the correct time to be like adding somebody to it. Yeah. So like, you have to go.
Oh, the leasing office kicked you out.
Yeah, but I was like. I was like on campus. Oh my god! The liquor store was like, I was just like walk to the liquor store and like ride my bike.
Oh man!
Oh, it was wild, man. And like those dudes,
were they cool?
Yeah, one of them was pretty cool. Well, actually, the funny thing is that the dude who sent me that thing didn't even live there. He was like, he was leased. It was his room that I was going to be taking. Yeah. So he was trying to get that figured out, but it was like 3 dudes that. Oh man, I think I still have one of their numbers. But it was pretty wild, man. I had my own room with no AC, no fan, no nothing, just a broken air mattress, and it was
mobbing around GV, dude. You got a little college experience. You should show up the class, dude.
Somewhat of a dorm experience, I guess.
Yeah, for how long were you living with those dudes?
Probably like a week. Okay. Until they were like, yeah, you can't, like, we don't do this. You can't just like sublease room when it's the summertime, because the kid didn't know what he was talking about. That's what the leasing person was like. Yeah, you can't do this. And I was like, shit. Now I know I have nowhere to go.
So is that when you called?
Yeah, I went to Julie. Julie has that place in Otsego by Bittersweet, and thankfully she answered the phone and came immediately, and I like packed my stuff up, and I was like, I just need somewhere to stay. Yeah. I only have my bike, but it's out in Plainwell. I stayed there for probably like a week and a half. and would ride my bike 3 miles into town and 3 miles back just to buy liquor. And then I would just be getting trashed like at the house, and it was bad, man. And finally, I was just like, there's no way like I can just stop this and like get a job and like go back to my parents' house. Like I have to show somebody and myself that I can like change something.
Yeah.
So I made the call, and Bear River, the rehab, actually will come and pick you up. So they came and picked me up, and I went there 45 days, and then they dropped me back off at the house that I'm in now.
What would you say was like your lowest point throughout that time?
Well, one of my lowest points was when I tried to commit suicide, because it was in front of Jameson. He had actually walked in, and I was drunk. I had been drinking. Tried to go like grab his pistol that was down. Like I tried to like look for it. Yeah, it was crazy. And then they brought me to the hospital, and then I believe I got an ambulance transport to what's the
Pine Rest or
Pine
something?
Rest. Yeah, I went to Pine Rest for a while. That was a very, very low point, obviously. But my lowest point, one of the other lowest points, was definitely just when I was out of the house and I was drinking like a half gallon a day. Didn't have a car, wasn't really speaking to anybody in my family, was getting low on funds because I was just like buying massive, like every day, doing those things. And it's just like, I just felt like shit, man. It had been so long. And, not knowing, where I'm like, what's going on, or like what to do, man. I was just at a loss about everything.
Yeah.
And I think if I would have tried to continue to do what I was doing there, then I might have, tried to commit suicide again, or like, I don't know, man. I have no idea.
But it wouldn't have ended good though.
No, it would not have ended good, man. And I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't decide to go to rehab. And I thank myself all the time for making that call, and just doing it. And like,
were you scared to make the call?
Oh yeah, dude, I was terrified.
Yeah, and like, how does that get paid for?
Insurance. I had Medicaid.
Thank goodness, dude.
Yeah, and now I have insurance to the hospital where I work and stuff like that. But I got approved. I went to Network 180 and did like an assessment, and they were like, "Yeah, you would need like long term, and we can get you accepted into Bear River." And I think I went and stayed. I want to say, oh, what happened? I went and like, because they couldn't pick me up yet, because they can only have a certain amount of people, or whatever. They couldn't come pick me up because they're driving from like Boyne City, like up by Boyne Mountain.
Okay.
And it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. And so I think my mom helped me get a hotel room.
Yeah.
Like one of those Airbnb hotel rooms over by Alpine. And yeah, they came and picked me up. It was just scary, man. And I actually went 2 days on my own, not drinking, before I went, which is super dangerous, dude. Oh my gosh. My withdrawals were terrible.
Like sweats and...
Oh my god, I couldn't sleep, sweats, just you feel like garbage, man. And you can actually, what I learned when I was in rehab was that like alcohol is one of the only drugs that you can actually die from withdrawal. Like meth and stuff like that, you just need to sleep and you need to eat, and like heroin, you do feel like shit. But like alcohol, if you go through withdrawals like that, you can have a seizure and die. Somebody actually, when I was in residential on the other side of the fence, was detoxed. He actually seized up and stopped breathing, and they brought him to the hospital right away and got him back.
Did you see it? Like, yeah.
I was right across the fence. I could hear it happening. Oh. People were like banging on his back and stuff like that. He had a seizure. And it was somebody who I was in detox with for a day, because I was in detox for 5 days, and they do like a Valium taper, until you're ready to go. But yeah, it was very scary, man. And I didn't really realize that, but like the 2 days prior to me getting picked up and going there, I went cold turkey, and it was because I was going to see my mom for the first time since I got kicked out, and my brothers before I went into rehab. And I was like, I would be doing myself as well as them a disservice if I was like trash drunk right now. Like they're taking me out to dinner.
Yeah.
But totally I felt like shit, man. It was terrible.
Like all day, or was it in waves?
You feel like shit all day. When you try to go to sleep, it felt like ants were like crawling all over. And like I'm sweating, and then I'm cold, and then you can't sleep, and it was just it was not fun. I literally felt like I had like some type of bug on me or something.
Like needles in your legs, almost.
Not even like needles, dude. It was just like every 10 seconds, different part of my body would just feel like little like ants were like, or like a spider. It was like a bunch of spiders were like crawling on me. It was
dude. Crazy. Remember when we got attacked by wasps?
I do.
With
Frankie?
You got
stung
like 30 times, dude.
I got stung 3 times. You got stung like 36.
36 or something crazy. That was one of the most. I broke both my wrists.
You had welts.
Welts, dude. We got annihilated by those.
I can't imagine 36, dude, because I got stung 3 times and that shit hurt.
I thought my legs were on fire, dude. We were running.
That's why I still hate bees to this day.
Dude,
these wasps, whatever.
They were just coming out of the ground, up my pants. They're up my pants, dude.
We ran like hell.
And I dropped my fishing pole right on their fucking nest.
We walked right over the hive.
Right over the thing of the hive, dude.
They
were pissed. Well, like Frankie was in front, you were behind him, and I was in the way back. So Frank woke him up.
You got the brunt of
it. you pissed him off and got stung a little bit, and then I just got attacked.
That was wild, yeah.
I thought I didn't know what was happening.
If you were like allergic,
I would have died.
Oh, for sure.
There's no EpiPen that saved you from 36 stings, dude. I would have been like fucking. I would have turned into a marshmallow, dude.
Yeah, actually, though, yeah, and it was mostly all over your legs, wasn't it?
All over, bro. I had like they would turn like they blistered some of them.
Yeah,
because those were wasps, so they bite you. So I think they can get you more than one time. I don't think it's like they kill you, they bite you, and then they die.
Dude.
In my pants. That was the worst part. I was running. I'm like, they're in my pants.
We were actually screaming like bloody murder too. It was really bad.
That was funny, dude. I don't even know how old we were during that. Maybe junior year. Yeah. Is there anybody that you feel like you need to apologize to?
Oh, I mean, the list goes on. I've already apologized to my family, my immediate family members. That was first and foremost. Just like even like you guys, or like you and Gio, like, I haven't really gotten a chance to. I mean, I can now, but like, there's a lot of individual people that I would like to apologize to, and it's actually part of the AA 12 steps. One of those is making amends.
Mm.
I haven't started the steps, and that's a whole nother thing, like meetings and stuff like that. I did it, and it's just not really particularly my thing. Doesn't mean I don't go get help elsewhere, but making amends, and one thing that we have to realize is that we can try, but some people aren't going to be receptive to it. Like some people are just going to be like, yeah, whatever, and that's just something that has to be, I'll have to live with or deal with. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm glad you asked that, because that puts me into a state of thought that there's more than what I would think of initially that I could apologize to.
Yeah, and that's hard too to like.
Yeah, I don't know how to like approach it, or like, do I call? Do I text? Do I send a letter? Do I Instagram message? Like, I don't know, And I don't, some people might not want to hear from me. I would hope not, but it's something I just have to kind of deal with.
Yeah. But you had to do, bro. Like, you were going through shit, and you had to look out for yourself. And
yeah,
there's like I said to you, bro, we could not talk for 3 years, but we're
so homies.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, and I know Gio feels that way, and fight us. So
it's just hard, because it's like I put myself through it, and like a bunch of people tried to reach out, and I just never responded. So they stopped reaching out, because like, they're not just going to continue to keep trying for years. you know. So yeah, I mean,
It takes time too to like reintegrate yourself back into society
oh my
almost,
gosh,
dude.
it was crazy. Yeah,
Because you just been
it's been the biggest change ever for me. But also just like an eye-opening experience and something that I wouldn't trade
yeah. What do you
at all.
yeah, like how do you feel like I should have wrote a question down, but like what about you feels the most different, like the way you thought then versus the way you think now?
Well, my mind is just so much more clear, man. I mean, if I if somebody asked me, or like thinking about it from where we're at, like right now,
Yeah.
um, like a year ago, I would not have been able to sit in front of a camera
Yeah.
with a homie of mine and talk about these things. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's crazy.
How do you turn
I, I've lost like 35 pounds since getting out of rehab.
Yeah, dude.
245. I'm at like a, whatever, 213, 215 right now or something. I'm the healthiest I've probably ever been of recent years. But just, I feel like my communication skills are so much better. And I've heard that from my family members and stuff too. They're like, holy shit. Like,
You always have been a low key super social person though. Like you
I'm pretty
like,
introverted for sure,
but you
like I
still
don't
like a good
shy away
talker
from.
though.
Yeah, yeah. I've always had good communicating skills, but then like
That's
I
what I
went through
like.
that period of time where I never wanted to. I never gave myself
Yeah.
the opportunity to have a conversation with somebody.
I think like when I knew you when we were in like middle school, like I feel like you were very social then.
Oh
And that
yeah,
was
for
probably before I
sure.
got.
Yeah, I think the Vyvanse thing, man. I went into like serious psychosis where I thought like people across the room were like talking, like they would look at me once, and I'd be like, oh, those people are like talking shit about me.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. It was really bad, and so I just like kept, holding myself by myself, like in the basement. Fucking, I wasn't taking care of I wasn't showering. I wasn't,
Mm.
hygiene or whatever. Yeah, but like now, obviously, all that's changed.
He's got the beard looking clean.
I
Got
trimmed it yesterday.
trimmed it
Just for
yesterday.
this. Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
Usually it's pretty big.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've been taking care of myself, man, and it feels great. I drink a shit ton of water all the time. My skin feels good.
That's good, dude.
You know, um, yeah, I mean, it's wild. 35 pounds that was a big boy.
Yeah.
Like 245.
When I remember when you helped me out making some clothes, you were looking a little bit.
I was drinking lots of brews and vodka, obviously, but I didn't discriminate. That's for sure.
No, dude, I think this is great, man. Like I said, you seem like talking to you now. You do seem like a different. You seem like when we first became friends. Like
I'm so much more confident, and some people might be like, I remember Jameson one time was like, dude, you were like a douchebag in high school. And I was like, oh, I'm probably still a douchebag sometimes to certain people, but like, I'd rather be that than like a piece of shit drunk, like, who never talks to anybody. I would take this over that any day.
Dude, we had fun. We had a lot of fun.
We did have fun, man. Yeah. Until I took it to, exceeded a couple steps and kept.
I know that's part of life though, bro.
Yeah.
Like I know maybe
went for sure.
It maybe went too far, but at the same time, dude, I'm somebody. The only way I learn is from fucking up, like straight up, dude.
And that's what it takes, man. Sometimes.
Yeah, it just takes messing up, learning, adapting, and now hopefully your story can like inspire people.
Oh, for sure, man. And like I mean, even with the situation just between me and you, if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I will do whatever. Like,
yeah, straight up, dude.
And my phone's always on, and it's like, there's things that I would hope, and I want you to be able to feel like you can talk to me about.
Yeah, for sure.
Because nobody should have to go through, any of that type of stuff alone.
And I know you understand, like,
yeah. Within my own story, but also with like, I mean, some of these people who I've lived with, man, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's always like I remember being on probation, having to do community service. You think your story's crazy, and then you meet somebody whose story is just out of this world. You're like, I thought my story was crazy. Like,
yeah,
fuck.
And like, I'm one of the young guys in the house. There's dudes, like I said, one of my old roommates who recently got kicked out after he got his first paycheck. In just immediately got fucked up. And he has been this was his 19th sober living.
Oh my god.
And he's like in his 40s. It's wild, man.
That's where it goes if you don't fix yourself or don't find like, I don't know, something.
Yeah, and I don't ever, and I will never say that somebody's like a lost cause and they'll never be able to get sober. But when you see something like that, man, he's been, and he's OD'd twice. He OD'd twice, died, and got brought back to life, and still is just like, it's very, very sad, man.
Yeah.
And I'm on like my 4th roommate because they just get kicked out, and like, the sober living's wild, man. I sleep in the same room with somebody.
What's the, if you're allowed to tell, what's like the wildest thing you think about that?
I almost got in a fight with not my last roommate, the roommate before.
What was going down?
This kid grinds my fucking gears, I won't say his name.
Yeah. We'll call him
Michael. He was our age. He was 26.
Okay.
On his way to having his 3rd kid.
All right. How many baby mamas he? This
was his 2nd. He had two prior kids, who, mind you, he wasn't allowed to see.
Okay.
Oh man, this kid grinds my gears. I used to, but it's like you live with
it's
all
close
these
quarters.
It's very close quarters. Like from, me to the door, that's like the bed distance. Like my bed, like I'm sleeping in the same room with somebody.
Yeah.
Mind you, I get up and go to work at 5.
Yeah, that's early, dude.
And this motherfucker he kept, I'm a night owl. He would sleep all day and then like not sleep at night.
Oh,
but he would like come into the room and like it's an old house, like the floors creak, they're wooden floors, the door opening obviously.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, my patience has been tested time and time again living in sober living.
Yeah.
And this kid grinds my gears, man.
Was it like in the middle of the night or something?
He would call in and out a couple times a night sometimes, and I would just be like, oh my gosh. Like, and he was getting, so I had one of my months paid, the 3rd month was paid by Calvary Church.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to some of my AA meetings there, and they do that to help people. Like, okay, we'll pay for one of your months of sober living so you can get ahead of yourself, whatever. He did that with 2 months, and so his insurance getting out of rehab pays for 2, and then the other one the Calvary pays for 2.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't looking for like work. He was just playing video games all night and drinking coffee, and then like he would wait until I left for work at like 5. Like I would see him in the mornings when I had slept through the night, and I would wake up and he would still be awake, and then I would get back from work at 3 and he would be asleep in the room.
Oh my god.
And so that whole thing was just like, because we were roommates for probably like 2 months or whatever, and I kept having to have conversations about this kid would be on the phone with this girl who's 21 who he got pregnant from back in his hometown, and he had the anger issues, like very bad anger issues, to the point where, and like he wasn't getting himself help mentally. He would get mad and scratch his face with his nails and like bleed.
Oh man.
And I witnessed him have a complete mental breakdown. I was sitting in the living room. He threw something in our room, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, if he threw something of mine, I'm going to be furious.
Yeah.
I went up there, and there's blood on his bed, and he's crying, and he can hardly breathe because he's just so frustrated or whatever. And obviously at that moment, I'm like, okay, I need to be here to try and help him as much as I dislike him.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I've told him to his face this before. I said, I don't wish for you to like go and use again. Yeah. Like, I hope that you're sober, but like, you got a lot of work to do, man. Like, you can't just stay up all night, sleep all day, not work, and like expect to like get out of here and like continue your life sober. And you have 3 kids now, and you're 26. Like,
how's he pay child support?
He doesn't, because he doesn't have a job.
Oh my gosh.
Once he gets a job, they'll get on him for it. But so anyways, that happened. I was trying to calm him down. Somehow he snuck through with the because I was like, he needs help. I was like, he needs to go to inpatient, like,
and
like figure
he could hurt himself.
Oh, he was. He was hurting himself.
Yeah.
And he was like telling a bunch of us, me and Justin, that he's been suicidal and stuff like that. And then he goes to this new like urgent care psychiatric thing for 48 hours, comes back and is, oh, I'm cured. They upped my sertraline, which is a anxiety medication.
He's a new man.
He's a new man. Yep. And then a couple days later, he came in back and forth into the room while I was sleeping and had to wake up for work 3 times. And I was furious. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to him like a man.
Yeah.
And tell him I didn't appreciate it the next day.
Yeah.
And he flipped out and got in my face and was like calling me a prick. And like, and I stood there, KJ. I stood there in the doorway and he was like in my face, like threatening me and stuff like that. I put my hands behind my back and I just stared at him. I was like, this motherfucker hits me, I'm going to beat his ass.
I believe it, dude.
And I'm not afraid of him. Like, you know, and he even said during when he was like freaking out, he was like, I think he said like, if this was a different situation or whatever circumstance, I would fire your ass up. But you might even beat my ass because you're way bigger than me. During the middle of talking shit to me, he basically told me I would still beat him in the fight. But he threatened one of our other roommates who was right next to him, who tried to like calm him down, threatened me, and then tried to tell our house guy that he didn't threaten me. I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, there's a witness here, man."
So did he get kicked out?
Yeah, he got kicked out
after that.
The next day, yeah. You can't threaten somebody in a place like that. No, you shouldn't be threatening anybody anywhere. But he was one of the worst people definitely the worst person in that house that I've come into contact with. He was just a bad dude through and through. And I mean, he struggles. I hope he's doing good, but like he wasn't trying to go anywhere. It was just like a staycation for him, basically. He was just playing video games.
He's not trying to get better.
No, he wasn't trying to get
better.
Was he
there mandatory or was he?
No, he was basically homeless before.
So he did.
And that's a whole other thing about rehab and stuff like that. Comes wintertime, man, those rehabs fill up because people don't have a place to go. It's cold outside. They go get sober for a couple months and then they go right back to it once the weather changes. It's just a thing.
I believe that for sure.
Unfortunate. I mean, there's been like 10 people who have been through the house that I've gotten to know, and then one day they're just gone.
Well, hopefully you and those, what are their names again?
Justin
and who?
Yeah, Justin and Kenny.
Justin and Kenny can get a place somewhere.
Yeah, we're hopefully we're starting to look right now. Hopefully, I want to try to be out there by the end of April. But
it's April right now.
I know. I've been in there. I mean, living in the same room with somebody.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
You never get your own, like, you don't have privacy.
Yeah.
It's hard. I can hardly take a nap without somebody, like, coming in the room. It's good for me, don't get me wrong, but I'm ready to move on and have my own, like, solitude in my own room and my own place without, 10 guys in a decently small place is
a lot. Yeah, you want your own
test
spot.
your patience for sure.
Yeah, especially 10 people who are trying to overcome something.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of factors. We're all addicts.
We're all addicts. Even if you say you're not addicted to anything, you're addicted to your fucking phone. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Something.
I knew that was going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah, you're addicted.
Like, if you're not addicted to drugs or whatever, you're definitely addicted.
Addicted to sugar, dude, or your freaking coffee. Get out of here.
I agree, man.
Dude, I think this has been great for both of us.
Yeah.
Is there anything you feel like you need to get off your chest, or you feel like you got?
Nah, I don't think I need to like publicly apologize to people on here.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things that I'll have to do in the meantime on my own. No, I think this has been great. I'm excited to that you asked or you wanted to do this.
I needed you to do this before I even wanted to make the thing public.
Yeah,
because like I just feel like our journey, and I think we could make this like a thing too,
dude. Because we could go another like 5 days in a row and like have a 2-hour. There's so much stuff we didn't cover.
No, I didn't cover shit. Yeah, I didn't really break this in, but I feel like it's just kind of. Yeah. We did a good successful one. It's got to be a weekly podcast. We can't give it all in one.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you got to leave them wanting more.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, dude. We'll call it a therapy session with Jackson and Kevin. That's what it's called. That's what
J and K.
Yeah, with JReid and Camp.
Camp. I want a cool nickname.
we'll come up with it.
J-Money.
Wax Wizard. Well, that's retired.
I retired, yeah.
Yeah, that's retired.
Geo knows that. Geo knows it's a drum dumper now.
Drum dumper. Well, because it was Brisk Bile, Camp Ranger, Wax Wizard, and
Fighters was just Fighter.
Fight a Cool. Fight a Cool.
Dark Rider.
Dark Rider. Yeah, we need. Wait, so what's your online name?
Just Drum Dumper.
Drum Dumper. That's good.
Both
dude.
capital D's. It was a 50 Cent lyric.
Okay.
Something about taking the drum out and dumping it.
Dude,
as in like a Bullet magazine. So I thought that was funny.
Dude, Old School 50 goes hard as shit.
Dude. Oh my gosh, yeah.
When the Lions lost, he's the man, dude. When the Lions lost, I was in Nashville with Fida, and we turned on Many Men all the way up, and we were ready to kill somebody. Yeah, go fucking Lions, dude. Yeah, come on, dude. Let's go. He changed his number.
I have a Laporta jersey. Yeah. Maybe we should just wear Lions jerseys.
Yeah, this is from China, Jack. $20.
That's a real deal.
$20.
It's a nice one, dude.
Now he changed his number to 0.
I love the black too. I have a blue one.
This is a real one. This is $100.
I think
100 versus
this
20.
is kind of like the one I have.
100 versus 20, stitched, printed.
Yeah.
I was gonna hang them both in my room.
Dude, I saw somebody with a Chevy truck today that had blue racing stripes and had like Detroit logos all over. It was like custom like Detroit Lions truck. I was like, that's badass.
Yeah, go Lions! We're winning the fucking Super Bowl. We're out this, John.
Not this John.